Hello, I'm Aaron Pettigrew, one of the Republican candidates for the United States Senate in Tennessee. I'm going to begin with Article 1. The first few sections of it are pretty self explanatory, dealing with the numbers and qualifications and such. This Article 1 is about the legislative branch. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Okay, that's all legislative powers. Okay, the president isn't supposed to write law. The judicial branch and Supreme Court are not the authors of law, even in their judgments. And neither are all these bureaucracies and agencies that we hear about. The authors of law are supposed to be the House and Senate. Article 1, Section 2 is about the House and their qualifications, so I'm going to read through it, skipping one part that was changed by the 14th Amendment, but I'll highlight that as I get there. Subsection 1, the House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. In other words, federal representatives are supposed to qualify the same as if they were in the state legislature. And it's, of course, identifying the 2-year term of the House of Representatives. Subsection 2, no person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Okay, so a representative is supposed to be at least 25 years old, a citizen of the United States for 7 years, and a resident of the state that they represent. Subsection 3 is the one that I was mentioning earlier. It begins with things like the 3/5 clause and such. And we're going to skip on to what still applies after the 14th Amendment. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least 1 representative. And until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations 1, Connecticut 5, New York 6, New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. Okay, this is talking about the census and using it to set the number of representatives, as well as giving the initial enumeration before the first census was taken. Subsection 4, when vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. So, somebody passes on, resigns, retires, is expelled, etc., whatever the case may be, the governor is supposed to call for a special election for filling that vacancy. Subsection 5, the House of Representatives shall choose their Speaker and other officers and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Okay, that means that the House chooses their Speaker and sets up their committees as they see fit. And the sole power of impeachment, that is about drawing up the articles of impeachment and approving it to move it to the Senate for the remainder of the process. Okay, the House has to start that. Now, impeachment does mean more than the president. Okay, impeachment can apply to the vice president, to the judicial branch, and other federal employees, as well as even other representatives and senators. However, there is a process of expulsion that applies for those. So, but impeachment can be anybody in the federal government. Go forward there. Okay, now this one applies to the position I'm seeking. Article 1, Section 3 is about the Senate. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state. Used to be chosen by the legislature, but the 17th Amendment changed that. For 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote. Okay, obviously, in anything the Senate votes on, the senator only has 1 vote. And of course, meaning the 6-year terms. Subsection 2, immediately after they shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, of the 2nd class at the expiration of the 4th year, and of the 3rd class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every 2nd year. Of course, dealing with vacancies, that was also changed by the 17th Amendment. But that sets up the division of the Senate, so 1/3 is voted every 2 years. And of course, the classes apply to where their terms are up. Okay, that's all that the classes apply to. Subsection 3, no person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. Okay, well, at the time of this video, I'm 42, so obviously I've reached 30 years. I've been a citizen all my life, so I don't have to worry about that. And I've been a resident of Tennessee for over 9 years now, and by the Republican primary, it'll be pretty close to 10 years. And this is actually the 2nd time I've lived in Tennessee. Okay. Subsection 4, the Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. Okay, so above and beyond the majority leader or President pro tem, the Vice President is the top of the food chain in the House of the Senate. Okay, and of course, only votes if the vote is split evenly. Subsection 5, the Senate shall choose their officers and also a President pro tem in absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. So, much like the House, the Senate gets to choose their leaders, their committees, and such, as well as their President pro tem. Subsection 6, the Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Okay? Now, that means if they're actually presenting evidence, the House and whoever is drawing up articles of impeachment, the Senate becomes the jury of cases of impeachment, and it requires at least 2/3 vote to do so. Of course, if the President, and I suppose this could even apply to the Vice President, is the one that's being tried for impeachment, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is the one that presides in place of the Vice President. Subsection 7. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be sensitive touchscreen. Anyway, all right. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. That means that the only sentence the Senate can pass in cases of impeachment is removal from office and forbidding the one being impeached from working in office of the federal government or in a position of the federal government. Any other crimes and such that apply are to be judged separately in a traditional trial. Now, that will apply to me as I am seeking the Senate. Article 1, Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the place of choosing senators. Well, since senators are elected now, that applies to them too. Subsection 2, the Congress shall assemble at least once every year, and such meeting shall, at the time, be on the first Monday in December, but now it begins in January, changed by the 20th Amendment, unless they shall by law appoint a different day. Okay, well, they have their schedule now. So that covers that. I'm going to stop there, and thank you for your time. God bless, and have a good day.